Hi Roses, my name is Tianna and welcome to today's reading, all about your upcoming week for air signs. So that is if you have a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, sun, moon, or rising sign. If you do not but still feel called to this video, feel free to stick around, take what resonates. If it does, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in more tarot content with me, you can find my Twitter at Tianna Rose Tarot or use the link in the description box to book a personal reading with me. So first of all, for this upcoming week, we have last quarter moon in Gemini, clear your mind, and new moon in Libra, know you are loved. It is super interesting that we had both air sign cards come out here for this air sign reading. Gemini and Libra energy might be especially significant to you. However, Aquarius energy is obviously represented here as well. There's a situation that's been weighing very heavily on you recently, something that's been taking up a lot of your mental space, something maybe you've been overthinking and having a hard time to make a decision for some of you. So this is definitely a week where you want to maybe get more into your body rather than just in your head. Because obviously just telling yourself to stop overthinking is a lot easier said than done. But oftentimes when we're having a hard time making a decision or when we're very much in our heads, that's an indication that we need to be more in our kind of energy or in our physical bodies, doing some kind of movement, grounding, anything like that to help you kind of recognize what your body is truly wanting, because our minds have a lot of different influences. There's a lot of different things going on, but our bodies often know before even our minds do. So keep that in mind. And remember that you are not alone, that you are loved, especially if this is maybe a situation you're overthinking about in terms of how somebody feels about you. This is not necessarily an indication that this person has romantic feelings for you, but there is a connection that is showing up here, a level of care, and a reminder to you that even though things might feel especially complicated, at the core of it, this is all just love. And this is an opportunity to kind of simplify things, remembering what is most important for you, and again remembering that you are not alone in this journey. Let's see what is coming up in this week. So we actually have two kind of opposing cards. Can definitely represent this confusing, complicated energy. First we have wedding rings, but then we have the Grim Reaper. I think that these can kind of represent the decisions that you're making at this time, kind of wanting something to feel really long-term, really committed, but also wondering if this is the right thing for you, if this is something that you are meant to leave behind. This could be something that you're kind of just doing internally, whether or not you are actually in a connection at this time, or it could be something that a partner is involved in a situation where maybe you've both been having a really difficult time, and while you might really want to be together, there might be a lot of incompatibilities, things that are getting in the way. So, of course, that would make sense why you are feeling so confused and questioning everything. So if that resonates, feel free to take that. If it does not, this doesn't necessarily resonate with everybody. For some of you though, you really do have this kind of long-term goal, whatever that looks like for you. It does not necessarily need to be a wedding. It does not necessarily need to be a romantic goal at all. But there might be a long-term goal that you're really trying to get to, but the people or the things that you've been trying to put in place to help you get to that point are not actually contributing to that end goal. For some of you, this is a situation where when you try to hold on so hard to that idea of maybe the potential that you built up in your mind at the beginning, or a feeling of, well, I need this one to work because these other situations didn't, that's when you end up kind of getting stuck in this situation where this person or this, concept, things, situations, habits, whatever that can mean to you, are actually getting in the way of you reaching that long-term goal. So for some of you, this is something where you're really going to have to reflect on, what was it that you went into this wanting, and is that still being reflected in the people, the habits that you've chosen to try to get yourself there? Because they might be at the beginning, and over time you might realize that is no longer the case. So please keep that in mind, and make sure that the things that you're doing, the people that you're surrounding yourself by, are in alignment with those long-term goals that you're moving towards. We have girl with a snake. So again, this can kind of represent this energy where maybe something seemed a different way at first, and then over time you've recognized, or you're starting to realize, okay, maybe this person doesn't fully represent what I thought they did, or this isn't as good as I originally thought, this didn't get me to the places I thought it was going to be. But you can maybe even convince yourself so hard, because of that potential that you built up or that you got attached to, that this might not even be something that this person or thing is actually doing, but you are still convincing yourself to not really pay attention to those signs that there's something different going on. And so make sure to keep that in mind. There could be some manipulation going on, some kind of energy along those lines, but only take that if it resonates. I think this is likely something more subconscious, or as I said, something that maybe you're even doing yourself, or you've got these blinders on. And that's why it's important to remind yourself of those long-term goals that you originally had, because sometimes we can get somewhat off course and not even realize it. Lastly, again, this energy of the golden mirror, very similar to this card. We have the term narcissism showing up on both cards. So obviously that's not something to just throw around easily. Please only take that if it resonates. But there's maybe some of that energy going on. Somebody who is maybe a little bit self-absorbed in this situation, or a one-sided relationship, something where that was kind of more in your head in terms of the potential. So that does not have to be the case for everyone. For some of you, this is more of like a complicated situation because you do really care about this person, or you do have a strong love for this thing, this situation, whatever it is in your life right now that you're trying to decide between if you should keep on the same course or go in a different direction. But the most helpful thing, as we said at the beginning, is to clear your mind, focus in on your body. And if you are still maybe more of a cognitive person or wanting to think about it in a slightly more logical way, remind yourself of those original goals that you had, and make sure that the things, people, everything in your life is in alignment with that, so that you're not actively making it harder on yourself. And that might require stepping out of some of that potential, starting to recognize that maybe something isn't what you originally expected or what you once thought, and that doesn't say anything bad about you, doesn't necessarily say anything bad about the other person either. And it's simply an incompatibility that is beginning to emerge between whatever this is and what you're actually, expecting and hoping and trying to get to. But as always, know you are loved, that you are not alone in this process, that you don't have to do this all by yourself. You have the universe, guides, friends, family, animals, plants, could be anything really. And that is kind of helping you stay grounded in this process. If you do feel like you're very much alone, and that if you were to leave behind this person or this situation, this could be for some of you a person that has kind of actively kind of distanced you from your friends or anything like that. So if that specific situation does resonate for you, make sure that you are taking some time to build up some of that support network in whatever ways that you have access to, so that if you were to it'll allow you to take that out of the equation so that you're no longer trying to convince yourself to be okay with something just because you don't want to be alone. That is always a situation that is very complicated, and it easily kind of keeps us stuck in things that we know are not good for us, but we feel like we don't have any other options. So surround yourself with people, things, habits, hobbies that do feel aligned for you, so that it can make it a little bit easier if you do decide to make some changes in your life around these things. I hope you have a good upcoming week, and thank you, air signs.